Hi, darling Lydia. It's Mama. How are you today? I am going to read you some more stories. And I made this really neat reading corner for us where Mommy will sit and read books. Sometimes maybe I'll read them in my bed, but I just wanted to show it to you. There's a chair, right? And Mommy has her cup of coffee, which I'm pretty sure you are very used to by now. Here's your book. I've got a comfy blankie if I need it. And look at all these neat decorations. There's a little table and a radiator. And then look, above is all of Mama's books. See all Mommy's books? Yeah. So I'll read you your story here, and then I'll read my homework over here. And whenever I'm reading my homework, I'll think about Lydia and wish that I was reading Lydia her story instead of my homework readings. Because let me tell you, my readings, my stories are just not as good as this book. So let's get started. This will be our third chapter. So this is video number 3. This is what we read last time. You remember the quarrel? We're going to go ahead and move forward. Now we're on page 27. And this is called Inside the Walls of Troy. And if I zoom in, you can see those big scary pictures right there. Looks like they're going to have a battle. Looks like there's going to be a fight. So inside the walls of Troy, the story begins. The Greeks were bitterly aware that Achilles was missing, but they fought like lions. Diomedes fell on the Trojans like a whirlwind, and the goddess Athene went with him, turning the enemy spears away from his chariot. So Lydia, if you remember, everyone is still fighting over a captive woman. And there's the Trojans and the Greeks. And now the gods are interfering. And it's a war between men. But the gods got involved. And since they're pretty much magical, they can do anything. So Athene, she's the goddess of wisdom and beauty, is helping. She's helping, I think, the Trojans. Yeah. Fell on the Trojans. So she's helping. I'm reading this. She's helping the Trojans. She's turning the Greek spears away. I think that's right. Let me keep reading. It looked as though the Trojans would be forced back inside the city. But Hector wasn't ready to be defeated. He leaped down from his chariot and ran along the Trojan lines, shouting encouragement. He's a good leader, huh? Be brave, my friends. Hold on to your positions. I'll go into the city and offer a sacrifice to the gods. We will not be beaten. The Trojans were inspired by his speech. They began to fight even more ferociously, leaving his cousin Aeneas in charge of the army. Hector strode through the city gate and into the city proper. So, Athene is already helping one side of the battle. I think she's actually helping the Greeks. And the Trojans are like, what's happening? Why are we losing? We are better than them. So now the head of the Trojan army is going to go back into the city, and he's going to make a sacrifice so that the gods come and help him. I wonder what's going to happen next. As he entered his father's palace, he met his mother, Queen Hecuba. She caught hold of his hand, amazed to see him there in the middle of a battle. She's like, why are you outside at work? She said, what's happening? Have the Greeks reached our city walls? You must be exhausted. Let me fetch you a cup of wine. This is no time for drinking, Hector said. We must win Athene over to our side. Take your most beautiful, precious robe to her and to the temple and offer it on the altar. Promise her a splendid sacrifice if she will only save our city quickly. Hecuba hurried off to do as he asked, and Hector went to look for his brother Paris. He caused all this bloodshed, he thought, angrily. How dare he sulk inside this city like a coward? He burst into the splendid palace that Paris had built for himself and marched through one room after another, ignoring the servants. Finally, he found Paris in the bedroom, polishing his beautiful armor. Helen sat beside him, doing embroidery. "Why are you hiding in here?" Hector shouted furiously. "All the other Trojan warriors are risking death to keep the Greeks out of Troy. You should be ashamed," he said. "I know," said Paris smoothly, "but I was mortified at being and embarrassed at being. I was mortified at being snatched away from my fight with Melanius. I've been too embarrassed to return to the battle, but Helen keeps telling me I should. I'll come with you if you wait while I strap on my armor." Helen joined in hastily, trying to calm Hector's anger. "Forgive us both. We know what the whole war is our fault. Sit down for a moment while Paris gets ready." "You're very kind," Hector said coldly, "but I haven't got time. To sit and chatter. I'm going home to see my wife and son." Do you see this? His wife and son. And that's him. "'Cause I won't survive this battle." He hurried away, leaving Paris and Helen in the bedroom. But when he reached his own house, Andromache, and what's his wife's name? Andromache, his wife, wasn't there. "She heard the battle was going badly," said one of her ladies. So she ran out to see what was happening, and the nurse went after her, carrying baby Astyanax. Hector rushed off to find Andromache. As he reached the Scaean gate, she came running toward him with the nursemaid behind her, carrying Astyanax, Hector's darling son. Andromache burst into tears and caught hold of her husband's hand. "What will I do if you're killed?" she cried. "You are all I have. Don't make me a widow or leave our son an orphan. Stay inside the city and rally our troops in the top of the great tower." "I can't hide in here like a coward," Hector said gently. "I must do everything I can to keep the Greeks out of Troy. If they win, they'll sack the city and carry you off as slaves. May the earth lie deep over my dead body before that happens." He reached out to take his son, but Astyanax had never seen his father in full armor, and Hector's huge helmet terrified him. And he cowered away from him, quivering in his horsehair plume. Hector and Andromache laughed tenderly. Hector lifted off his helmet and put it to the ground. This took Astyanax in his arms and gave him a kiss. Do you see the pictures? That's the mommy and the baby over here, and that's the daddy. Oh, look at this good picture. Look at that picture. "May Zeus make you strong and brave," he whispered, "so that men say, 'He's a better man than his father.' May you triumph in battle and make your mother happy." He handed the baby to Andromache, and she smiled at him through her tears. Deeply moved, Hector stroked his face. Trying to not grieve, he said, "We can't escape the fate that is fixed on us. Go home and keep our household running smoothly. That's your work, and you do it well. My work is to fight our city. I won't go back to the battle." He put on his helmet and strapped it up. Andromache started home with Astyanax in her arms, but she kept looking back at Hector over her shoulder, weeping bitterly. She had a terrible feeling that she would never see him alive again. As Hector turned towards the gate, Paris, full of life and vigor, came hurrying down to join him, but his armor gleamed in the sun, and he was laughing. "Sorry I kept you waiting," he said. "I knew you were eager to get back to the fight." "I was only trying to protect your reputation," Hector said gravely. "You were the one who plunged us all into this war, and I don't want to hear one other Trojan calling you a coward. And if I'm doing you an injustice, I'll make an amends when the war is over if Zeus lets us win." Without waiting for a reply, he turned away and walked out the gate, back into the battle. I don't know about Paris. Why does Paris think it's okay to just stay at home while everybody's working in a battle and 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 then be rude to his brother? I don't get it. Well, next time we'll read this part called Single Combat, the sight of Hector and Paris. But before that, let's look at our pictures again. This was a good one. A lot of black and white pictures. Before there was a lot of color. I bet you there's a lot of black and white pictures. They're actually black and blue and beige. But I bet you it's because it's a battle that they're not using as much color. They used a lot of color when we were looking at images of the gods, like back in this section. Remember this one from last reading? Look at all the color in that. But this is our chapter today, and there's not nearly as much color in here. Look at this one. That's the beautiful palace that Paris lives in. And there's Helen, his wife. Kind of. Even though they stole each other, and that's why there's a war. It's like that story Jolene. There's the dad and the mom and the baby. And there's the picture of them saying goodbye. One nice drawing. There's the mom and the baby again. Oh, I know what that is. This is the mom and the dad and the baby. This, that's Paris and that's Helen. And this is Hector yelling at Paris and Helen, being like, where are you? Come out and fight the fight. Well, my darling Lydia, that's it for story time for today. I think you're the best. I bet you're having a lot of fun at home. When it's not raining, I bet you're playing outside. Will you kiss your daddy for me? Tell Vivi I said hello. I love her. I miss her. Tell Mama I said hi. Give Uncle AJ a pinch. Just pinch him. And be good to yourself because you're my favorite. But most of all, tell Opal that Mommy loves her. I miss her. Because although you and me get to have these videos, Opal doesn't get these videos. Also remember, you can call Mommy. So if you watch this today, give me a call. It's Wednesday, and you can call me from Daddy's Facebook account. Maybe I'll try to call tonight. I love you. Mwah. Mwah. Good baby. See you later, princess.